Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to OOB Accountancy tutorials. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly press the subscription button for more videos. So today we'll be looking at the practice questions, and this practice questions is on capital asset pricing model and portfolio theory. So let's read the question. Let's go into the questions. We have Sumola's Funds PSC has a portfolio of short-term investments in the shares of 4 quoted companies. So these are the companies we have. Companies holding. So Tomiwa, which is T, has 100,000 shares. Pascal P has 155,000 shares. Binta, which is B, has 260,000 shares, while Yetunde Y has 420,000 shares. You have the following additional information. So they give us the additional information for company. We have for the beta value, the market value for per shares, and we are given the expected total return on investment per annum. So they gave us, don't forget that the market value per shares is common. So we have for T has a beta value of 1.55 with market value of 280 kobo, and the expected total return on the investment is 21%. And we have for P has 0.65 beta value, and the market value is 340 kobo. We have the expected return is 12.5%. For B, which is Binta, has a beta value of 1.26, and the market value is 150 kobo with an expected total return of 80%. While Y have 1.14 beta value with expected value with the market value per shares is 9.5 kobo, while the expected total return on the investment is 18.5%. They said the market risk premium is 10% per year. The market risk premium is 10% per year, and the free risk rate is 6% per year. Require. So we are asked to calculate. So this is the question now. We have A, estimate. Require. A, estimate the beta of Sumi Solar Fund, which is SFPSC short-term investment portfolio. So a company has decided, which is Sumi Solar, has decided to invest in short-term investment portfolio. So they have decided to invest in 4 short-term investment portfolio. They have decided to invest in the shares of 4 companies. So the first require says that we should find the to estimate the beta of Sumi Solar PSC short-term investment portfolio. So let's calculate that for A. So A. So we have to calculate the beta value of Sumi Solar Fund, which is SF portfolio. So let's calculate now. So what are the first things you have to look at? Don't forget this question. You are given the market value and you are given the holding, the number of shares they have in each of this company now. So Sumi Solar has we have for T, they have what is let's calculate the market value now. Let's calculate the market. So look for the market value. The market value. Don't forget that the market value will be in Naira. But the question given to us, the market value is in Kobo. So how are we going to calculate that now? So how many T has 100 shares? 100 shares all over 100 shares. So it has 100 shares. What's the market value per shares is 280 kobo. 280 kobo. Because it's in kobo, we are going to divide it out. We are going to divide it by 100. We are going to divide it by 100 because it is in kobo. Because one naira is equivalent to 100 kobo. So it means that for every 100 kobo, it makes 1 naira. So we are going to convert it. But if the question is not, if the market value is not in kobo, just multiply by the market value per shares. But it's because it's in kobo, that's why we are dividing it by 100. We are dividing by 100. So what will be the market value now? So 100 times 280 divided by 100 will give us 200. So the market value is 280. So 280. So since we have the market value, so what's the beta? The beta for investment for shares in T, we have 1.5. So 1.5. So we have 1.5. Now, let's now multiply the market value times beta, which market value is M times beta. So don't forget. So it will now be 280. 280,000 times 280,000. 280,000 times 1.55. It will give us 434,000. Now let's calculate for B the same for T Pascal, which is P Pascal. So what's the shares? It has 155,000 shares. What's the market value? The market value is 340 rather. 340. So because it's in kobo, our market value is the kobo divided by 100. So we have 155,000 times 340 divided by 100. So what are we going to have? So that will be 155 times 340 kobo divided by 100. So that will give us 500 527. So what's the beta? The beta value of P Pascal is 0.65. So 527 times 0.65. That will give us 527 divided by times 0.65. That will give us 342,550. So let's go to this third investment now, which is B. So how many shares do they have in B? They have 260 times the market value, which is 150 kobo divided by what? 100. Now please, I'll repeat this. The reason why we're divided by 100 is because our market value is in kobo. Our market value is in kobo. So when you multiply it, that's 2. You have 260 times 150 divided by 100. That will give us, divided by 100. That will give us 390. So what's the beta value for beta for B? It is 1.6, 1.26, 1.26. So 1.26, 1.26. So 390 times 1.26 is going to give us 400. It's going to give us 491,400. So let's go to the fourth investment. So how many shares they have there? They have 420 shares times the market value, which is 9.5 divided by 100. Don't forget, the reason why we're dividing by 100 is because our market value is in kobo. So what would that give us now? So let's multiply. That should give us 420,000 shares times 9.5 divided by 100. That will give us 39,900. What's the beta value? The beta value of Y, that is Yetunde, is the beta value is 14.14. So it's 30. It will now be 39,900. 39,900 times 1.14. That will give us 45,486. Now, since we know the market value times beta now, so let's add the market value together. So what is our market value? The total market value. Total will now be 280,000 plus 527 plus 390 plus 39,900. So that will give us 1,236,900. So that's the total market value. So let's add our total MB. That means market value times beta. So that will give us what? That will give us 1 million. That will give us 1,331,000. 1,331,000. 436. 436 now. So now for us to calculate the portfolio beta now, because that's how we are asked to calculate. After getting this total, let's now divide our MB. That means market value, the total of our market value times beta. What is the total? This is the total. This is 1,313,436 divided by our total market value. What's our total market value? 1,236,900. So when we divide it, what are we going to have? So when we divide it, that is going to give us 1.06. So our beta value is the portfolio, the beta of the portfolio, because this beta that we have here is the beta for the individual investments that Sumisola has invested in. This 1.55 is for T, 0.65 is for P, but we want to calculate the beta of the beta value, the beta value of the portfolio now. The better value of the portfolio. That means for the four investment being put together, what is the better of that investment? And that's how I have portfolio. That's the better. The portfolio beta now is 0.06 now. So let's move to, we have solved the first question. So let's move to the second question now. They said recommend. The second question, they said recommend giving your reason whether the composition of SFPSC short-term investment portfolio should be changed using relevant calculation. So they say, should we change the composition of these four investments? Don't forget, the four investments are short-term investment. They say they are asking whether they should change the composition. Are we supposed to increase? What they are saying is that give reason if you are advising that the composition of the investment should change. You should give reason for their for that fact, and also what show calculation why the composition of that investment should change. What they are meaning is that should we buy more shares in a particular investment? Should we sell some shares in a particular investment? Should we change how we have invested in this portfolio? Are we supposed to sell or increase the number of investment that we put in one? So that's what they are asking. They now gave us an hint. They said consider the alpha value of the shares and the proprietary of investing in short-term investment. So they are giving us an hint that when we are calculating, or when we want to calculate, that means for the question you are asked whether they should change the composition of the short-term investment. That's what things we should concentrate on. Two things. What are the two things we should concentrate on? We should concentrate on what? Using the alpha value of the shares now. Now, that means if we want to calculate now, or we want to examine this question, we have to consider two things. We have to consider two things if we want to consider the question. So what are the two things we need to consider? That means when you are looking at the alpha value, that means we are looking at is the performance. We want to look at the performance of the individual investments within the portfolio. We want to look at whether the performance of the investment within the portfolio is satisfactory. So for us to know whether we should change, or whether we should change the composition, whether we should buy in one more shares in a particular company, or we should sell off shares in another company. So that are we to change the composition of the investment? Are we to invest in one investment and reduce the investment in another investment, or not to invest or disinvest our investment in a particular share? So we are going to consider two things. Number one thing that we are going to look at is we want to test the performance when considering this composition, because before you can say you want to change the composition, you want to change the structure of how you have invested in these four investments, you need to look at the performance of the individual investment. So let's test the performance of individual investment when using alpha value. So let's look at that. So we want to solve question B now. So we want to look at question B. So now question B now, we now say the question now. So in order to determine whether to change the composition of the portfolio. Yeah. Let's consider one. So what are the first thing that we should consider is the performance. The performance of individual investments. The performance of individual investments using the performance of individual investments within the portfolio using alpha value. Now we know that our alpha value is also considered to be what? Our abnormal, you call it our abnormal return. Abnormal return. Alpha value can also be considered as abnormal return. So how do we calculate our alpha value? Our alpha value can be calculated as expected return minus required return. So is expected return minus our required return. Now, in the question, we are giving the expected return on each individual investment. So, like T, the expected return for it is 21%. We have for P 12%. So, we are giving the expected return, but the required return we are not giving. So, you need to determine the required return. So, let's calculate our required return before we apply this formula now. So, let's calculate our required return. So, maybe we should leave space for our required return now. So that means let's calculate our required return. So required return can be calculated using capital asset pricing model. So let's calculate our required return using capital asset pricing model. So what's the formula for calculating our required return? So the formula for calculating our required return is RE is equals to return of risk-free investment, the return of free risk investment plus beta value bracket return of the market minus return of free risk investment. Now, in this question, our free risk investment, the return of our free risk investment, which can also be called rates of risk-free rates of free risk rates. That means it can be called return or rates now. So it was given as what? As 6. So you can see that calculating now our return of free risk investment, or you call it risk-free rate, is given in the question. You can see that it's given as 6%. Now, they have given us the beta for individual. This is the beta value for individual investment. So you are given. So it means you are given because the beta value for each investment is given. We have 1.55 for T. We have 0.65 for P. For B, we have 1.26. For Y, we have 1.14. Now, but the the return of the market is not given in the question. The return of the market is not given. So how are we going to calculate this now? Now, in this formula now, from year to year is what we call market premium. So you are giving market premium. What is market premium? Market premium is equals to Rm minus Rf. You can see now. So it means that if you are giving market premium, it means that they have helped you to subtract the return of the market from the return of the free risk investment. The return of the free risk investment or the rate of free risk investment has been subtracted. It means that if you are saying your market premium, if your market premium is equal to 10%, it means that before they arrive at this 10%, they have subtract risk rate of free risk investment from the return of the market. So it means that means this minus this is equals to 10. So in this question now, it means that they have given us our market risk premium as 10%. They have given us our market premium as 10%, and they have given us our the risk-free rate or rate or return of the return of free risk-free investment as 6%. So it means that you can still calculate, because if our market premium is Rm minus, if our market premium, so let's MP be market premium. So if our market premium is equals to Rm minus Rf, and they have given us, so if you want to calculate our return of market now, they have given us our market risk premium as 10%. So it means that market premium is 10%. So the figure we are not giving here is, in this question, is the return of the market. So let's return of the market. Let's say we want to calculate the return of the market, and risk-free rate is 6%. So minus 6%. It means, let's collect the items. It means 10 plus 6 equals to market premium. It means market premium is equals to what? 16%. Can you see now? That means, look at it now. To test whether your answer is correct, let's look at it now. If market premium is 16%, it means 16 minus risk-free investment. Will it give you 10? Risk-free investment is 6%. So 16 minus 6 will give us what? 10. So is either you what? You can calculate your return of the market as, which is, we have calculated to be what? To be 16%. For those that want to, you may not want to calculate it. You may decide not to calculate it. Just whenever you write, it means, I will explain that later. Let me explain. Now, since we know we have calculated our market return of our market now. So let's calculate the return for individual, the required return for individual investment now. So let's calculate we have for T first. For T is equals to, what's our risk-free rate? Our free risk rate is 6% plus beta. What's beta of T? The beta of T is 1.5. We've written down here 1.5 bracket. Our market rate is 16% minus free risk investment is 6%. So look at it now. 16 minus 6 will give us what? 10. So you can decide to rewrite this as 6 equals to what? 1.55, and just write the market, since you know your market premium as in this question, your market premium, sorry, your market, yes, your market premium is 10%. So you can either rewrite it as 10% instead of you calculating return of the market. Since you are giving market premium as 10%, so instead of writing 16 minus 6, you have been giving market premium directly in the question. You can just write 10% because 16 minus 6 will give us 10. Will give us 10. So you may decide to calculate your market return. This is your market return, your RM market return, your RM, which is 16, and now subtract your rate, risk-free rate, which is 6%. Or you can just decide to write 10%. So it depends on how you want it. So let's move forward now. So what are we going to have? So what are we going to have? We have 6 plus 1.55 minus 16, a bracket open 16 minus 6 will give us 21.5%. So for our, what's the next investment? P. Our risk-free investment is risk-free rate is 6%. Our beta is 0.65. 16 minus 6. So it's this 16 that we have calculated here. What would that give us? What would that give us? 12. To give us 12.5. So let's calculate our B, which is beta. We have 6. What's our beta? What's our beta value? We have 1.26 bracket 16 minus 6 is going to give us what? It's going to give us 18. It's going to give us 18. It's going to give us 18.6. 18.6%. So let's calculate for our Y. Our Y is 6 plus, what's our beta value? 1.14 bracket 16 minus 6 is going to give us, what is that going to give us? It's going to give us 17.4%. now. So now we can now calculate our alpha value. So let's calculate our alpha value for this. Now for T now. For the first time is T. So what's the alpha value for T now? So it means we have the expected, the investments. We have expected value. We have require value. Require expected return and require return, and we have our alpha. We have our alpha value. Now let's go to the first investment, which is T. What's the expected return of T? Is 21%. We have 21%. That's 21.0. We have the required return, which we have calculated as 21.5%. Now look at it now. What's our alpha value? How to calculate our alpha value is expected return minus required return. So 21 minus 21.5. That will give us minus 0.5. That will give us minus 0.5. So minus 0.5. So let's go to P. We have expected value to be 12.5. 12.5%. What's our required return? Required return is 12.5. So 12.5 minus 12.5 will give us 0. We have for B now. What was our expected return? Is 18.0%. Why our required return is 18.6%. So 18 minus 18.6%, because our alpha value, to calculate our alpha value, is expected return minus required return. That will give us minus 0.6. So let's go to the last investment, which is Y. Y, the expected return is 18.5. 18.5. Y, the required return, which we have calculated, is 17.4. So 17.4, that's 18.5 minus 17.4. That will give us 1.1. Now, based on this based on the alpha value that we have calculated now, so let's make some decision now. Now, please note this: when your alpha value produce a positive result, a positive figure, you mean you can buy more of the investment. But when it gives you a negative figure, you do what? Sell that investment. Now, but when it gives you a 0, it means you should what? Hold on to that investment. Do not buy and do not sell. Now, once it gives you a positive figure, it means you should buy. That means the investment is undervalued. When something is undervalued, something that worth maybe 5 naira. That's the worth 5 naira, but the price on it, let's say it is now 2 naira. That means it is undervalued. That means once it produces, when your alpha figure produce a positive figure, it means you should what? You should buy. And when it gives you a negative figure, it means it is overvalued. You know, when something is overvalued, you should sell. You should sell it. It is overvalued. This means undervalued. This is overvalued. So when it is 0, it means it is do not buy or do not sell. It is fairly what? Priced. It is fairly valued or fairly priced. So anyone. So it means you should not sell, neither sell or buy. So look at it now. We have alpha value here to be minus 0.5. It means that investment T should be what? Minus. It means it should be what? Sell it. Sell. P is give us an alpha value is 0. What do? We hold because it is fairly valued or fairly priced. B give us an alpha value of minus 0.6. It means we should do what? Sell. And Y is positive figure. It means that we should buy more of investment Y now. So don't forget that the first thing we are to, in order to determine whether to change the composition of this investment, first thing that we consider is the performance of individual investment. Now you can see that there are some investment that is undervalued and there's some investment that is overvalued, and there's an investment that is fairly valued. So based on this, you can advise. So you can advise that the composition of the investment should be changed. Now, this is first reason. So this is the first reason. So we have looked at the 4 investment, the performance of the 4 investment now using the alpha value. So now what will now be our conclusion? So our conclusion will now be that Based on the above calculation now, based on the above calculation, investment investment T and investment B should are not giving a satisfactory performance. It is not giving a satisfactory performance. Therefore, the investment in T and B should be what? Should be disposed. It means it should be disposed because the risks of this investment cannot compensate for the return. It means it should be what? Disposed. Please, you put down into writing. Please write down one down. Why investment B? Why? That means the company should buy more of investment Y, so they can use the money they have acquired or that they will receive in investments in investment T and B to buy more in Y now, in Y, because the investment in Y, the investment Y is undervalued. Now, is undervalued. So it means that this investment, now this portfolio, the combination of different investment, don't forget that portfolio is when you are combining two or more investments. You are putting your fund in, is that instead of you to put it in one investment, you are combining, you are putting in two or more investment. Now that means this investment, this portfolio of Sumisola Fund PSC, it is not well diversified. So because it is not well diversified, it means that the composition of this investment, of this portfolio, the composition of this their portfolio can the composition of this portfolio can now be what can now be changed based on the above reasoning. See, please put that down whenever you are solving an SFM question, strategic financial management or financial management question. Always put a comment in your questions. Now let's go to the second reasons. Now the second reason they have given us is he said the proprietary of investing short-term investment in equity. Now what they are saying is that, is it ethical, is it reasonable for you to what, to invest in shares? You want to invest in short-term loans, in short-term investment, you now invest in shares. Is it right? So that's the second reason that you look at. Now the second reason you look at, so they say the they say, is it ethical? They say proprietaries of investing short-term in funds in equity. Now is it right for you to invest in investments in you want to invest in short-term investments, you are not investing in shares? You know that the reason why people invest in share is not for short-term investment. Now like Otodola is buying shares in First Bank, you can't tell me that the reason why he's doing that is for long-term, is for long-term purpose. Now it is not ethical, it is not ideal, it is not logical for an investors that wants to invest in short-term investment and now invest in, and now choose or option to invest in equity, that equity is the suitable funds, or suitable funds for investing in short-term investment. So you all agree with me that it is not suitable, that equity is not the most suitable investment for short-term investment. We have other short-term investment in which a company can invest in. We have treasury bond because they are short-term in nature. The characteristic of a treasury bond is short-term. Government treasury, these are short-term investment. So that means the investors should rather invest in investment that are short-term in nature rather than to be investing, government bond. They are short-term investment. So is it suitable? So we can agree. Does so the, what we are looking at is, we are looking at the two that we are looking at. The reason is the We are looking at, is it logical, is it reasonable for companies to find equity as the most suitable investment. So now we are looking at the, the proprietaries of investing of investing short-term short-term funds investing short-term funds in equity. So this is in written form rather. So it means that, is it logical, is it reasonable to say that equity is the most suitable forms of short-term investment? So we all agree that it is no. So because that means the composition of this investment should now be changed. It should be changed. That means they should divert these funds that they have invested into this portfolio to most suitable short-term investment, because equity is not the most suitable short-term investment, because the reason why people hold on to shares is not for short-term purpose. So it is not mainly for short-term purpose. It means that they should look at more suitable forms of short-term loan, just like treasury bond, government bond. These are short-term investments now. So now, therefore, looking at these two reasons, we can now say, looking at these two reasons, we can now say the composition of, because they say recommend, we can now say you can now recommend that the composition of the investments should be what? Should be changed. One, some of the investment are not what? Are underperforming. The performance of some investment are not satisfactory. And secondly, the equity that the organization has invested in is not the most suitable investment. So they should find more suitable investments to put their funds into, to diversify their in order to diversify their investment now. So let's go to the question C now. Question C. Question C say, explain three factors that a financial manager should take into consideration when investing in marketable security. What are the three factors that a financial manager should consider when they are investing in marketable security? So one thing that they should do is that, number one thing they should consider is the risks. They will consider risks. They will consider the price. The price of the marketable security is one of the factors. What about the return? 3, return. That means the yield, the return. So they also need to consider that the risks involved. That means the higher they want to look at the risks of not getting, the risk that is involved in the marketable investment. Please, when you list it, please always always make explanation, because always provide that explanation. It's not only list. They said you should explain 3. So when you list it, you explain it. You know that the risk is uncertainty that you may not recover back your fund if you want to invest in marketable investment. So it means that they will consider the risk. If this risk is higher than the expected return, it means that the financial manager will not want to invest into that investment. I mean, the risk that they will be taking for a particular marketable security should the return should compensate for the risk. What about the price? The price. If the price of the marketable security is high, they will also consider the high and the price, whether the price is high or low before investing. What about the return? Because when you want to invest, you always consider the return for your investment. Return, the financial manager will also look at the return. Now, what about the foreign exchange, foreign exchange risks now, especially if that marketable security is not in domestic currency. Maybe you want to buy marketable security in UK. For you to buy marketable security in UK, you will need to pounds. So you need to convert your naira into pounds. So if the exchange rate is high, you know, that means the possibility of getting or buying more marketable shares will be lesser, because if the exchange rate is is high. But if it is low, it means that you can buy more of that marketable investment. Now what are the amount of investment? The amount to be invested, the amount to be invested will also be considered. The amount of funds, the amount of funds to be invested in the marketable security will also be considered by the financial managers. Now it will also be considered. What about the period? Nobody want to tie their money for a long time, for more than the required time. Now some people will rather want to invest in short-term investment, marketable security, or long-term. So depending, so they will also consider the period. Now if you can tie down your investment for a longer period of time and it will yield a greater return, people want to tie their return. But if you tie your investment for a long time purpose, and it will not yield the required return, nobody will want to invest in that kind of investment. So the period will also be considered. The period for which the investment to be the period for which the investment is to be made. So it's going to be considered. You look at the period that the investment is going to be made. So you look at it. So they say 3. So we have mentioned 6. So these are the questions. So some questions in portfolio theory or in capital asset pricing model may be calculation, and it may also be written. So please, that's why I combine these questions together to also give us an insight about how best to answer this question. Thank you once again. Bye for now.